Welcome to a luminous episode of The Art of Living Proactively. I'm your host, Tony Wynyard, shining the spotlight today on the radiant Helle Luxe. Join us as Helle illuminates her journeys from darkness to light and shares her 7 pillars of joyful living. And we learn how this beam of sunshine from Norway found her inner glow after major turmoil nearly eclipsed her world. Let her shining spirit inspire you to glow from within. Her insights on self-care, meditation, forgiveness, and spreading joy are definitely ones not to be missed. And be sure to hit subscribe for more lit up episodes across your favorite podcast platforms or on YouTube. Then do leave us a shining review. I read each one, and if you could share this episode to spread the light, that would be really helpful. So now let's bask in the glow of the one and only Helle Luxe. Welcome to another edition of the Art of Living Proactively podcast. My guest today, this is the first time we've had a Norwegian on the show. It's Helle Luxe.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Tony.
We were talking just before we started recording. I lived in Norway for 18 months. I love Norway. It's a fabulous country. I mean, so you're from just outside Oslo, did you say?
Yeah, 20 minutes outside, a half island called Nesodden. So I actually took the boat every day to Oslo. So that was kind of charming. But yeah, I'm a Oslo girl in my heart, basically.
So for anyone listening who maybe has not visited Norway, maybe give them a couple of reasons why they should consider visiting Norway.
Yeah, I thought about it earlier when people are saying, oh, Norway is so beautiful. And I'm like, yeah. And then I went to Singapore and it was this beautiful country too. And I realized that what Norway has, like Singapore, is the cleanness, beautiful nature. But we also have the wildness that, for example, Singapore is lacking. So you have these beautiful mountains, the water, and this peace. And we have the darkness and we have the light. And that mixture of winter and summer and spring and autumn is not that easy to find. Again, in Singapore, it's the same temperature every day. But here in Norway, it's always changing. So it's kind of on a journey by just living here, basically.
And you just mentioned light.
Yeah.
And with your name, so maybe tell me the connection between light and your name.
My name is Helle, and it means holy. And I went through this big darkness a couple of years ago. And in that darkness, I found the essence of light. And in the essence of light, I decided to change my name to Lux. But I thought that holy light would be very beautiful. So I applied, and now I'm the only one in Norway, beside of my kids, that are named Lux. But what happened after I got my name was that I, by coincidence, in a dream, in a kind of meditation dream, was told just in my mind that, but your name is the same as you always, the new name is the same that you've always been called. And of course I Googled it, woke up and Googled, and it said Helle means light. So light. The goal is to shine. And that's why I'm here, to hopefully give some inspiration and tools to how people can shine more. And as I said, I come from deep darkness in light. So hopefully I can help people to shine more without needing to go into the dark.
Love the description. So I know that you're a lifestyle advisor, speaker, author. You're helping women all around the world. So maybe expand on that a little so for anyone who doesn't know you.
Yeah, it's called Let's Shine. That's my studio online, and also in Oslo. I had it for 15 years. And it's basically training, nutrition, and lifestyle. And training and nutrition is both of them are very essential. We all know we need to take care of our body, and we all know that we need to eat healthy. So these tools have been kind of the essential parts in the beginning, but I always knew that lifestyle was important. And if you think about it, in lifestyle, that's where the magic is, because there you have mental strength, there you have meditation training, there you have joy trainings, as I call it, and you have heart training. And there's one more thing, give training. So in lifestyle, there's the tools you need, and most people forget because they think it's enough to work out 2 or 3 times per week physically. But I believe that to shine on a regular basis and to elevate yourself, to thrive more, you need to be able to work out 7 aspects, as I just mentioned, 7 pillars. So that's what I do. I look at what people need, or they tell me, or they show me. And for example, a woman that is very exhausted after working a lot, I won't start by sending her to the gym. That makes no sense. But most people, or very often, think that I need to work out more. That will be the solution. But very seldom it is for the long run.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to hear more about all 7 of those pillars. And the 2 that I'm particularly interested in are joy and give. They sound fascinating. So yeah, tell us more about the 7 pillars.
Well, the cliche is that I actually found the first pillar in the end last year. It took me 20 years to find these 7 pillars. And the first pillar is heart training. It starts with the heart. And this is the first thing people don't do this. It's about giving yourself love.
Right.
And it, again, so cliche, but if you don't give to yourself, you have nothing to give. And there you have the give part. So
Right.
It starts by giving. And after heart training, then you have mental training. We are not at the physical. We are still now we are at the mind. You need to feed your mind.
Right.
So you need to strengthen your mental strength needs to be strengthened. And then you have nutrition training. I call it training because it's also about the relationship you have with food, the balance between enjoying and taking healthy choices. And of course, giving your body food and fuel that it actually needs. And then you have the physical training. So we are heart, mental, nutrition, and physical training. And after physical training, then we have the part that is most magical, and that's the meditation training. And for me, meditation training is about space. Like this silence. The space to think and to just be and to get new ideas. Because there's so little space and also emptiness. We don't renew ourselves. We're just living the same life again and again and again. And meditation is going to the toilet. It's emptying yourself every day. Meditation is to have your closets tidy, but also some empty space there. It's also to just be in silence and taking a shower, create space. And this is an element people don't do. And that's the second part with giving. It's about letting go, forgiveness, let go. Don't hold on to things that you don't need and don't serve you, like people, situations, thoughts, and feelings. Let go, meditation. And after meditation, then you have joy training. And after filling yourself up with love, and at least do 3 things every day that make you happy, then when you're full, what is the one thing that you want to do when you get some happy news, for example? What is it?
What, in my case?
Yeah.
What do I do when I get some happy news? Probably talk to some friends, I guess.
Yeah, you share it. And that's the joy. You share it with other people when you fill yourself up. And that takes you to the last 7th pillar, and it's giving. It's
right.
Giving forward. It's contribution. So to sum it up, you have give to yourself, and then you have give to others, and you have forgive. And that's the cycles.
Okay.
That's the essence. And you have the 7 pillars, the 7 tools that you can look at and see, maybe I should prioritize to eat a little healthier this week, or maybe I actually need to sleep and meditate more this week.
Okay.
And it's kind of finding a balance between those 7 and making sure that what you need right now and in the long run is prioritized.
Fascinating. I like it when you were describing silence. And I wonder, I don't know the situation, because I haven't been in Norway a long time, but obviously I know England much better and I know English people much better. And I think people in England often are not comfortable with silence. So I wonder what the situation is with many of the clients that you work with.
If they are comfortable with silence, I think none of us are, to be honest. That's why we avoid it. And that's why we also are having a lot of health problems. I think mental health problems, because we are never turning up. We're never given the chance to reflect and process emotions and feelings and thoughts, because we are always on. So turn off, go inside. So that's why I used also the word meditation, because basically to sit down and close your eyes is a way of meditating, but it can be good or even better to just go for a walk in nature. Right. And when you first open that box, and again, back to Singapore, there's no little meditation there. Like there's not much space. It's a beautiful country, but if you don't have the chaos is also a kind of meditation, because you need space to have chaos. And also to have fun. And also, if you're thinking in a relationship, an intimacy relationship, you need to have space for communication. Are you listening? Are you talking? And is there any space there to just let it be something new created? So, no, people don't like it. Me neither, that much, because it's so much easier to just turn on my cell phone and watch Instagram or whatever. But I need it, and I use it a lot, especially in my life now. I'm doing it far more than I'm comfortable with, but I'm noticing that it's very good for me.
How did these 7 elements come together? I mean, and I think you mentioned before 20 years. I'm just wondering the process, how this all came about.
Well, 20 years ago, I was 19 years old. And I started as a personal trainer, and it was physical workouts and also nutrition. You were lucky in Norway if you got a nutrition program. And I just realized in my own life, of course, but also with my clients, that it wasn't enough. That people can go on a diet for 3 weeks, or they can have a workout program, but it's not enough. They will stop, or it won't give them the result they want in the long run. People are hungry often because they are not eating enough, and they're eating too little. And that's about giving to yourself. Eating is a way of nourishing yourself. And it just didn't take them forward, or myself. And I just noticed that the different tools that I'm share with you now, they are essential to move forward. So with the heart training, as I said, it came last, because I thought I was good at giving myself love, but it's about how good you are at giving yourself compliments. Are you talking to yourself with kind words? Are you accepting that you are in pain, and also giving yourself that extra love when you need it? And also maybe say no to other people, because you need to prioritize yourself. And most people are very good at giving to others, but at the same time, they're so lousy at giving to others, because they are giving from an empty station. So you have the bitches, I'm sorry, but women in their 30s and 40s, they have not a lot of children, but often 1 or 2. And they are working so hard of being great moms and at work, and also partners. But they are also not giving to themselves. And that results very often in them yelling or acting in a very negative way. Like being those women you don't want to be. But at the same time, it's just because they are exhausted and not started by giving themselves love enough, at least. So I saw that it wasn't enough to eat a smoothie or do some abs workout. You needed to go home and just relax and just take a bath. You have the heart, you have the mental training. Where did that come about? Well, look at the world right now. If you don't wake up and have a very clear mission of what you want and where you're going, you will be taken everywhere or nowhere. It depends on which web page you choose to log into. My kids are writing in a book every day. And here's my one son, and he's writing what he's grateful for. Of course, I'm teaching my sons how to nourish themselves. So he writes about 3 things he are grateful for, heart training, and 3 goals for the day, mental training. And that's just to help him to have focus. It's not, if I'm not programming my kids, then the society will, or the web pages. So you choose. So I choose to program my kids, and they are choosing what they're writing, but still it's me asking them to do that. And after mental training, yes, you have the nutrition and the workout, and then you have to let go. It's very logical. Like if you have a vase on your table and you want a new vase, you need to remove that other vase first.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be some space for something new.
Right.
So we are filling up with food and drinks and social media and activities and work. And it's just, it has to go somewhere. And when people aren't sleeping well, maybe it's because you haven't had some time to just let go and reflect on what's happening in your life. So that part was magical. I actually found that part last May or April in New York. I'd been there for 2 or 3 days. My boyfriend were out. I was in this beautiful hotel room, and I was just looking out on all the lights and all the noise, and I was thinking, what are we lacking? And it was space and it was silence. And it just came to me, we need that. And it was at that moment I had also the forgiveness part of the giving. Give to yourself, give to others, and forgive, let go, meditate. And then you have the joy and giving. Because I will just say, it's all about joy. We just want to have a good time in life, basically. And if you don't fill yourself up with joy, you're actually very selfish. And that's why I'm saying we are good at giving, but we are lousy at giving. You're not a good person. I say this with love, but this is a typical thing I can say. If you're not giving to yourself first, because you're giving from an empty station. And the more you're giving to yourself, the more you have to give. And you give because it's natural, because you're so happy. And then you give to other people, and it's all about giving, because we are to contribute. Life is what's good and what grows. So that's why you have the giving at the top 7 after all the other 6 steps, because when it all comes to it, it's about giving to yourself and then give to others, because that's the only thing you can do. You need to pass it on, and that's how it flows till the day we die and move forward in some other way, universe. I don't know.
You mentioned there about women in their, I think you said 20s and 30s, about they don't give to themselves much. And I wondered, as you were saying that, about there's people like Gabor Mate and various other people talk about how typically, they're generalizing that women have a lot more stress than men do and suffer from many more conditions related to stress. Do you think that's related to that they're not giving themselves enough?
Yeah, definitely. I think we are raised as children very early on to be good girls, and most women are hardworking and focused, or at least they are hardworking, and we are kind of trained to take care of other people. And again, we are moms. We are supposed to be biologically. So, but my mom never told me how to take care of myself. And that's what I meant by also going into the darkness, because, I think it's now 6 years ago or 5. I just had this moment one Sunday where I was risking losing everything in my life. And I realized that the love I had wasn't real. with the father of my children. I was almost losing my children. I was losing my health. I was losing my house. I was losing my money. I was losing my family. If I didn't go to the light, or at least get up and do the job I had to do. And what I realized in that moment, and it made me cry like a hurt animal in my living room. And it was just this one thought that I hadn't taken care of myself. I was 30 years old and I realized I hadn't taken care of myself. And taking care of yourself is to trust in yourself, eating what you need to eat that makes you feel good, work out your body, taking your own choices, and not relying on your partner, no matter how good your relationship is, but trust yourself and go through life by being the person you want to be. So I learned it the hard way, and I got up, I did the work, and I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. And that's why also I'm so passionate about these 7 pillars and the tools, because it's not necessary to go through what I did to learn and to shine more in your life, because I kind of used my 20 years now, and I have one recipe that I believe will help many more people than that already is being helped. And it's a strategy. And if you don't have a strategy to shine more, I suggest you try to find one. And I have one if you're interested. That's kind of my mission.
When you say to shine more, what do you mean by that?
To just be joyful, full of love, enjoying life, and have a lot to give. And when you come into a room and you see this person and you don't know what it is about that person, it's just peaceful, full of energy, love, that kind of person. To be a person that you really love, that you are the one you want to be. And people are often like, I want to have this kind of partner and this kind of house, but it starts with you. Like, how are you as a person? Are you that kind of person that the person you want will be attracted of? And I will use one example, because we all care about love. We all want big love in our lives, and that's also to shine. To have big love, to be in love. To be in love is a state, peaceful, joyful state. And to be in love with a person, that's just a manifestation of that, in a sense, between another person and you. So I lost love. I don't know if it even was that big love. I think it was pretty small. But of course, I, as other people, wanted big love. So in my mental training, this is a step for me to get it into my 7 pillars. I was very inspired by Bob Proctor. I will say that he's one of my mentors. And I started to writing down what I wanted. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am in a healthy, loving, passionate relationship. And I wrote everything that I wanted. And note every day. I wrote it as if I had it, and I wrote every day for 3 months. And during that time, I didn't go on any apps, Tinder or dating apps, but I went into the app after 3 months. And the next day, I noticed that I didn't look at the same guys that I did earlier. And I also just let the guys say hello to me. I didn't bother to say hi. I was like, okay, say hi. I'm not mean or anything. I just wait for you to say hi. And the next day he said hi. And I met him 3 days later. It's big love. And I've had him in my life with 3 bonus children for 1.5 years. And it was what I asked for. I got what I focused on, what I've been telling myself for 3 months. Not something on YouTube, but what I have decided.
When we go to school, we taught science, we taught mathematics, we taught languages and stuff, but we're never taught love.
We're not taught to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. it's strange in a way, isn't it? Because it's so important to not just to life, but as you say, to enjoy life, to help others in your life. And it's so much more important than many of the subjects that we do learn at school.
Yeah. And I think it's sad because I thought it was enough for me to just go to school, get a job, and find me a man and get married, and I would be happy.
Right.
And I get the impression that a lot of women in Norway especially have the same view. They want to have a great job, but they think that's enough. And in a way, they haven't even started, because joy is in hard work, of course. But you don't have the tools. How do you know that you are a great girlfriend or boyfriend? What's your standards? And if you look at your parents, not many parents know either. So it's like, should I blame my mom or my dad? And I wouldn't do that because they didn't know. So when I woke up 5-6 years ago and realized this, I was like, okay, it's time to grow up. It's time to be the person that I want to be and have to be. And in a sense, we are just a product of our parents till the day we decide to be the one we want to be. So this is about the 7 pillars, and Let's Shine is about becoming the person you want to be, not who you were programmed by your parents. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting you use the word programmed, and in my mind, I've been thinking as you've been talking, it's about, we're conditioned into expecting certain things throughout our life, and we often don't question those things because we've just known them since we learned to speak, and so that is what is normal to us, and we don't often. I think it's only in the last decade or so, there's many things about my life that I've really started to question. And now I look at things very differently.
And it's interesting that you say that, because asking questions is meditation.
Right.
Because you're creating space to ask a question. Why are you angry? What are you feeling now? Instead of being just frustrated of a person reacting in a way that you don't like. Yeah. And I think we unconsciously, we know some tools, and that's why we are teaching our kids to say thank you. Okay. But if we really dive into the value of saying thank you in heart training, gratefulness is the easiest way to be happy. That's why I tell my kids every day to write it down, and we always just say thank you, because every time you say thank you, you're sending out this vibration. You will get love in return, and you also feel joy. Most people just think, let's be polite, say thank you when you get something. And that's true. But my kids, I'm teaching them happiness and also more depth of every tools they're getting. Like, you look for people you can help, give money. Because if you're giving, you will get in return. Not necessarily from that person. Okay. But it's about energy also. Just not like physics. What you're sending out, you will get in return. Some people believe in karma, and karma is just, again, if you're negative, you will get negative response. If you're thinking negative thoughts, it's not like a belief, it's just energy. Yeah. It's just energy.
So the people that you're working with, I'm wondering, what do you think are the reasons why they come to you in the first place?
They often start by wanting to get in shape. Some people are still there, and I help them with that. I'm good at getting people in shape, but it's always more. But we are not trained to see that. I feel like my work or my profession is new, that people, a coach, I'm not very fond of that word, coach. That's why I like advisor better, but they're not trained of thinking, right, okay, so I need to learn how to earn money. And then you learn that. But I need to learn how to have a better life. People don't have that awareness. So people are still coming for pain. But also more and more people, some women called me and said, Helle, I need you. I've gone through all this big drama in my life, and I just need to find myself again, get the tools, get the energy back. So some people have worked with me earlier, but I think there's still very few people that understand the value of investing in themselves. Like what I'm giving is kind of an education, just like you said, because we are all uneducated, a lot of us at least, in taking care of ourselves. And that is probably the best investment you can do, because it will benefit anyone you meet, and especially your kids. So for me to see how this just goes forward to the next generation and also to the people and their kids, it's very inspiration, giving me a lot of motivation. It's very giving me a lot of peace.
And are you just working with people locally or nationally or around the world as well?
Around the world. And of course, it's not only women, but 80-20%.
Right.
And I think also that's normal. I'm a woman. I mean, biological, it's easier for me to understand a woman and also what we are going through. So I'm not going to pretend that I will be the best for a guy, like a guidance. But of course, I have men that love to be guided by me and we are doing physical training or mental training, and it can be in Singapore or it can be in US or England. But mostly it's women.
And I'm wondering, so how do they find you?
Just, it's Let's Shine by Helle Luxe.
Right.
So it's again very, very important for me to focus on the Let's Shining. It's not about me, but of course my name is Helle Luxe. So if you want to find my tools, it's Let's Shine by Helle Luxe on the different platforms.
So I'm wondering, it's not so much, okay, you've got a website and that can be found, but more, how do they, like, what is it?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And that's the online platform. So I do have an online platform where people can get the tools directly. And it's not expensive. I mean, it's $19 per month with $19. And you will get all my workout programs that you can follow. And you can also get personal follow-ups and test yourselves and your results. So yeah, I have this online platform and I made it so it's easy for people to use, and you can use it wherever you are and you don't need any tools to use it. And then you have, of course, for those who want to work with me individually and more one-to-one, that's more exclusive. Yeah.
And I was looking through some information on your website, and I was intrigued by one thing about what is the secret word to shine more in your life?
Do you want to guess after our talk?
Well, I'm thinking it's probably give, but maybe it's joy.
Yeah.
It's give.
No, it's give. Yeah,
Right.
but give gives joy, but it's give. Yeah, that's the one thing after this talk is give, and start by giving to yourself, and don't foolish yourself to think that giving to others is the solution. But if you're not giving to yourself first, it will be from an empty station, and it's not joyful in the same way. And that's when we are risking becoming those persons we don't want to be. And remember to let go, forgive, the third part. And that's why I'm having 3 hearts around my neck. Love for myself, love to others, and let go.
Okay. We're going to change the subject. And a question I sort of primed you with earlier, and you didn't have an answer at the time. So I'm wondering if you have an answer. I ask everyone this question, and I find it fascinating because I always ask people, is there a book that's moved you at any time in your life? I've discovered some fascinating books by asking people this question.
Well, you were right. I have one book that I didn't have before we started this chat. And it's The Secret. And when I read it, I was a teenager. And it gave me this hope that everything was possible. Yeah. I don't remember all the things in that book. I only read it once or twice. But I feel like what was lacking, or also what I've been told from people that I've talked about that book, was the understanding of the work and the mental focus. Like, everything is possible. You can imagine things, but it's more like having a vision. And then it's very important to take the steps to get it, and don't expect just to sit there and get it without giving. Yeah.
So you mentioned just now about your website.
It's letshine.no.
No, okay.
Yeah,
so
from Norway.
More about you, they should go there. And then you're on various platforms, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and so on. And all of those will obviously be in the show notes. Which platforms do you sort of prefer to use the most?
Oh, good question again. I should say Instagram. I mean, I'm on different platforms, but for me, it's more like I prefer to communicate. So if people want to ask me a question, ask me a question. It's more like that. For me, it's send me an email, or send me a message on Facebook or on Instagram, and I will respond. I don't have any favorite in that sense. But I do like to communicate by talking. And it's like having this talk with you now. It's something I will do more of. I haven't done it in the past, but I'm ready to get the northern light out there. So yeah.
And you're starting a podcast soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I have tested it once. It was fun. So I won't send people to my podcast yet. You will find it, but it's only one episode. It will tell you where, it will tell you a little more about me. But I will stick to attending other podcasts for now, and give by doing that. And hopefully,
Well, we always finish the episode with if you've got a favorite quote and why you like that.
Yes, that's an easy question. Thank you. My favorite quote is, take care to care. And basically it means give to yourself before you give to others. Like you're putting on your oxygen mask in the airplane before you're putting on others. So if you want to shine, if you want to really care about other people, you need to start caring about yourself first, every day. And then you will really feel the urge to give more and feel more joyful.
Well, Helle, I love your approach. It's very different. I can see how this will work for people. So yeah, well, continue with the great work you're doing. And it was a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. It was great to be here. Thank you so much.
Join me next week when I'll be probing preventative approaches with pioneering physician Penny Kihaklioglu. Probably said that wrong. Hear Penny's perceptive insights on moving medicine upstream to stop sickness before it starts, and learn how lifestyle, nutrition, and emotional health can help halt cancer in its tracks. Discover Penny's holistic vision for transforming healthcare through exercise prescriptions, health coaching, and community connections. And let her wisdom on well-being at work and integrative care inspire you to live life to the fullest. So don't miss this proactive physician's call to action for preventing problems before they arise. Be sure to subscribe on your preferred podcast platform. Leave us glowing reviews, that would be great. I appreciate each one. And share this episode with friends to spread the word. Until next time, remember it's better to dig the well before you're thirsty. Making your health a conscious choice, the art of living proactively.